Want to level up your hula hooping with tricks that seem like they're next level but are actually easier than it seems? Well, these 5 off-body hula hooping tricks are going to help you feel like a pro, even if you're just getting started. Now, in this video, the tricks we are going to learn are, number 1, iso pop. Number 2, smear turn. Number 3, rotate jump. Number 4, behind the back arm toss into reverse escalator. Number 5 is a hinge jump through. Hi, I'm Dream Fairy, a hula hooper, float artist, and hula hoop maker as well. Dream hoops, whoop whoop. So let's get into these 5 awesome hoop tricks to help you level up. This first trick I want to get into is called a double-handed iso pop. And so what that's going to look like is doing, you could start out doing your double-handed iso pop, and then boom, you stop right here. Continue the iso with your other hand till you get back to this part, and then pop it again. And then you can continue doing that. And then you could go back into your double-handed at any time. So that is a double-handed iso pop, a variation of an isolation and iso pop. The second trick we're gonna get into is a smear turn, or also an overhead off-body smear, you can call it that as well. So what that looks like is, and so how you do that is whenever your hands are in front of your body, they're just rocking on the below side, never passing halfway up. Whenever, that way, no matter what direction you're heading in, they're gonna be in front of your body. And then once your hands, are starting out, doing this isolation. Once your hands get, about 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock position, that's when you're gonna start to turn your body and rotate it all the way to the other side. And keep in mind this wall plane here when you're doing this. When you start to turn, your hoop is completely, flat towards the audience. Now, when you make your rotation, you wanna make sure you stop at that same wall plane, flat with the audience. That's how it's gonna look really nice when you're doing this. To make your turns more fluid as well, you're kind of like drawing a triangle with your hands here. So when you're right here, when you make your turn, this hand is, down here. You're gonna wanna, this hoop is kind of staying in the same, it's just this hand is staying in the same position. But this hand, when you do this hand, it's kind of like drawing a cross in front of your body, and then this hand would go into staying in the same spot while this hand does a cross in front of your body. So this is what that looks like breaking down as you're rotating your body. And so once you're able to get those down, then you can incorporate a full body spin as well. When you do that, you want to make sure you're rotating your body in a straight line. You're not like swaying or anything, because you want the hoop to stay in the same position as you're rotating around, and that's what's going to make it look fluid as well. So what all those would look like. And that's that. You can also incorporate some pops with it as well. Whenever your hands, are in the 3 or the 9 o'clock position, like kind of hinge the hoop outwards and stop it. Keep in mind this wall plane. And then that way it looks fluid as well. This is a good transition trick when you're doing flow. So now the third trick we're gonna get into is called a rotate jump. And so this is kind of something I came up with. I haven't really seen anybody else do this, so that's just the name I'm gonna call it. And so you start over here with it into your side, and this is a perfect beginning to a routine. So you can do this with your hand over here while you're rotating this with your 3 fingers from the top, and you're keeping it in a center straight axis plane. And then whenever your index finger gets at the bottom part of the hoop and it's in like this wall plane flat with the audience, that's where you're gonna give it a little jump, and you're gonna push it up to where the top part of it is now the bottom of the hoop. So it kind of looks like a nice little jump up as it's spinning in the air. And then that way when your hand catches it there, it can rotate on your hand and keep that rotation until you grab it, and do something from there. And so I like to kind of push my middle finger up a little bit as well. That way it has like a center, and then using like the rest of my hand to kind of guide it if it starts to move. So what that looks like is, and right before you're gonna toss it up, try and give it that little push with your other fingers there to give it a little bit more power on its rise up. Like that. The fourth trick we're gonna get into is the behind the back arm toss escalator. And so I really like this trick because it does look really fluid and pretty and professional, but it's simple to do. And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna toss it behind your back like that. And then as it comes up, your arm's coming over in front of your body. And you're gonna get the bottom of the hoop to flip like this. So when it comes up, you're moving your hand to make it do a spin or like a coin flip around your arm. And then from there, it's gonna naturally, as long as you're moving your arm up, it's gonna naturally lead into an escalator around your body. And I do have a more in-depth techie tutorial of this specific trick in my escalator video, which I'll tag up here if you want to get more technical with that and learn it better if you need more time with that. But what that would look like, from the back point of view. From the front. And that's that. Our fifth and final trick I want to get into is a very fun looking one as well. Something that I kind of came up with as well. I haven't seen anybody else do this. And so how you're going to start that, it's going to hinge your body forward. And so you can get into this many ways, like from a front toss like this, put your arms up that way, to hinge it backwards, and then you can hinge it back forwards. You can get into this like that. Or if you ever end up in like a hinge position, there's lots of different ways you can get into this. But first you're going to do is you're going to hinge it forward like this. But with both hands kind of popping it up and over your body. As you're popping it over, when it gets here where, it's hinged, you're gonna move your hands inside of the hoop like this to kind of hinge it forward like this. Now you're holding it in 9 and 3 or 3 and 9, my 3, 9, anyways. So you're gonna hold it from the inside like this, And as it comes to this position, you're also bending forward while the hoop's still in this rotation of the hinge forward. And then once it gets here, then you're gonna switch the hinge to your hips right here. So when it gets here, you're hinging it back up and over, and then, so now it's coming backwards over your body, and then as it comes backwards, you jump through it, you know, coming back up. So it hinges this way. So it hinges, you know, this way, and then you jump through it that way. So what that looks like all together. And yes, my hat does often fall off when I do this one. But it looks very fun to do, and it is easy to do as well while still giving that awesome added cool factor to it. And so, you know, I like to lead into it. So now here is a fun combination I came up with to incorporate all 5 of these tricks in one flow combo. And so those are the 5 hula hoop tricks that will help you level up your flow, some fun variations to some beginner level tricks. That way you can start feeling like a professional in your flow. And also don't forget, I do like to make hula hoops as well. Information is in the description on where to find these. But it is definitely something I enjoy doing for sure. So thank you so much for being here, for watching, for showing your dedication, showing up, and leveling up your flow as well. Let me know down in the comments how you like these variations and if you tried any and if you feel good doing them. Let me know. Also like the video as well if you liked it. I do appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel so you can get access to more hula hoop tutorials, beginner friendly guides, fun flow, RC dancing fun things. So that is that. I will see you in the next one.